We learned today Crawford County investigators searching a pond for human remains near Chester following a deathbed confession. Sheriff Daniel Perry tells us an unidentified dying man confessed to killing a 13-year-old boy and dumping the remains in a pond back in the 1980s. Says his remains were not found during a search that ended yesterday, but the sheriff's office is working to get a dive team to search that pond itself. The sheriff says they're continuing to review historical records and they're working with multiple agencies, including the FBI, to figure this all out. If you have any information about this, please call the Crawford County Sheriff's Office. After serving more than 20 years on death row in Oklahoma, Richard Glossip has been released from prison. He was convicted for the 1997 murder of an Oklahoma City motel owner. Now, though, a judge granting him bond while he awaits a new trial. Glossip was previously on Oklahoma's death row and avoiding execution 3 times before his conviction was overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court after it was determined that prosecutors used testimony they knew was false in the trial. Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond says the state will not pursue the death penalty during the upcoming trial. I told you last night the Arkansas Supreme Court ruled to throw out an appeal from Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders in that lawsuit involving the timeline of March's District 26 special election. It also wrapped up another election for the Catherine Rowley picks up the political and legal saga that is now seemingly wrapped up.
The legal battle began last fall after both seats became vacant. Former state representative Carlton Wing resigned from House District 70 in September, while State Senator Gary Stubblefield died in office in Senate District 26. Shortly after, 2 separate lawsuits challenged the timing of those special elections. Now, nearly 6 months later, both cases are dismissed.
Everybody that deserves representation should have that representation.
Governor candidate Colt Shelby says that the push to move up the Senate District 26 election was about making sure residents had a voice during the fiscal session.
So to me, it was mostly important to the people of Senate District 26 and the whole state of Arkansas that we were represented in there properly to have a voice in that Senate floor.
Jennifer Waymack-Steinfender, who represented District 26 during the legal proceedings, says this case was about providing representation for the district.
They had representation in the fiscal session. That's what they were fighting for. All they wanted was an election date that allowed them to get a representative in the Senate, filling that seat and looking out for their interests.
She also says that the case could still influence future special election disputes, including the current vacancy in District 44.
So I don't have any reason to believe that the governor going forward will do anything other than follow the recommendations of the court before, as well as the legislature. But we'll see.
The Democratic Party of Arkansas also sued over the timing of House District 70 special election. That case was also dismissed Thursday. Party Chair Marcus Jones called the ruling a win for fairness and transparency.
This case wasn't about Democrat versus Republican, although on the surface, I'm sure people see that and think that. It was truly about fairness, about transparency, and it was about justice.
Special elections have now been held in both districts, with Brad Simon representing Senate District 26 and Alex Holliday representing House District 70 during the fiscal session. Secretary of State Cole Jester, who was also named in the lawsuit, says his focus remains on election security.
And it's not about which days we have our elections, it's about, are our elections secure? And in Arkansas, they are.
Was Catherine Rowley reporting. Now, the Attorney General's office releasing a statement saying the Supreme Court did not rule on the merits of the case and that the state remains committed to protecting the constitutional process. Eureka Springs Hospital will celebrate a new dedicated helicopter ambulance base next week. Hospital says it will ensure patients in the area can get emergency transport when it's needed. It's part of a new partnership with a company called Survival Flight, who operates out of Batesville, Arkansas. Ribbon cutting ceremony will take place Monday morning at 10. Siloam Springs School District getting questions and some criticism from parents after student information was posted online. This release from the Siloam Springs School District says an internal document containing demographic information was inadvertently posted on the district website. The release says once the issue was identified, the document was removed from the page, and the school district apologizes for that mistake.
has been very concerned in every request that we've gotten for someone to speak to him. He's reached out personally and talked to all those people either through email or phone call because we believe that this warrants that kind of response. So I would reassure parents in any way that if they have a concern, please contact us.
Russell says the school district met and discussed how to make sure this never happens again so that students and parents can feel safe. Fort Smith police warning parents and students after more reports on social media of a splatter gun gathering. The department says it involves these types of toy guns that you see here on your screen. They say students have been painting them and then changing them to look like real guns. Police say that's a serious safety risk because it could be difficult for police to tell if it's real, and it could lead to a tragic situation. Police are encouraging parents to talk to students about it and make sure they know the risks. A day set aside to remember those in that field who were killed in the line of duty. A few dozen people gathered in downtown Fort Smith today to remember the officers, deputies, and troopers who've died over the last 100+ years.
These are the men and women who have fallen in service, protecting the citizens that are in this area.
Officer Bradley Williams works as a community relations officer for the Fort Smith Police Department.
It's tough, right? One, it's sad because, you know, we've lost someone who we've been next to, who we started with, you know. But then also for the profession, it's someone that took the same oath we did, and understanding that, I mean, we all do the same. Like it's part of the job.
Bradley says it's never easy to have to plan for this event, but it's also very important the event happens.
It is kind of part of the job. It's what we do. It's what we signed up for. But just if you see an officer, understand that we are here to protect and we're here to serve. And this is the part that not most people see, and that's what we signed up for. This is part of the job. We are ready at any given moment to protect, whatever that means. That means laying down our lives for the citizens that we promise to protect. We will do that. So I just want people to understand that this is part of the profession. It's a sad part of the profession, but it is something that reminds us what we do.
Ceremonies were also held all over the area today, including this one in Benton County. This one taking place this morning on the square there in Bentonville.